Room. The only way to start your day.
Good morning and welcome to the third hour of the Situation Room. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. It's the 8th day of February. And this February, Showmax is bringing you an unmissable deal. You pay for how much? 1 month. You get
bob.
a second month free. Just like that. 300 bob gives you 2 months worth of Showmax. Bring you unmissable content. And that's why we're saying in a give. Showmax in February. In a give nini.
In a give.
In a give content. In a give rich housewives. In a give
Documentaries.
In a give sports.
Yes.
In a give kila kitu. Huh?
Everything.
One to the other. Our guest for the next hour is going to be Felix Odiwuor, a.k.a. Jalango, the Member of Parliament for Langata Constituency. As he gets here, Ndu, let me tell you something. A story that has been published in The Guardian. The Church of England, a.k.a. the Anglican Church, is considering whether to stop referring to God as He, after priests asked to be allowed to use gender-neutral terms instead. The church says it'll launch a new commission on the matter in the spring. Any potential alterations, which would mark a departure from traditional teachings dating back millennia, would have to be approved by the Synod, the church's decision-making body. The Right Reverend Dr. Michael Ipgrave, the Bishop of Lichfield and Vice Chair of the Liturgical Commission responsible for the matter, says the church has been exploring the use of gender language in relation to God for several years. After some dialogue between the two commissions in this area, a new joint project on gendered language will begin this spring. In common with other potential changes to authorized liturgical provision, changing the wording and number of authorized forms of absolution would require a full synodical process for approval. The bishop's comments came in response to a question asked at Synod by Reverend Joanna Stobart, a vicar, and about the progress on developing more inclusive language in service. It's unclear what would replace, for example, the term Our Father in the Lord's Prayer.
I'm tired.
You've got to be gender neutral. So now, in the Bible talks about God, He did this, He did the other.
So then,
God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. The Son also is now gender.
So it will be God the Father and Mother,
God the
God
Parent,
the Son and Daughter.
God the Parent, God the Child, God the Holy Spirit.
I'm tired. How many things do you want to change? This gender neutrality, political correctness, inclusivity, until what is it?
For God so loved the world that they gave their only begotten child.
Do you know, it's funny because it's exhausting.
So whosoever believeth in them shall not perish.
I'm even speaking my language. No.
And Jesus said, in my parents' house, there are many rooms.
You know, it's funny because it's ridiculous. How many do you want to... how many do you want to change? How many do people... It's okay, we understand. It's okay, leave it. You want to say that it must be inclusivity, neutrality, completion. Okay. What's his name? Morgan.
Who?
Pierce. On his
Piers
show.
Morgan.
Piers Morgan on his show. He said, you know what? I'm really getting tired of all of this. How much do we really have to change? Even the way you speak every day, now you have to think about who you're going to include or not include, who you have to think about and who you don't have to think about. It's becoming a mind-boggling exercise that I can't say it, I can't say her, I can't say she, I must say they. No, I think also there needs to be some kind of pushback. Everything now you say, they'll say no. Our Lord's Prayer again. No.
Our Father who art in heaven, is it gender neutral?
Why must you think? Why can't it just be that it is a prayer?
But I thought identity comes with how if I identify as a woman.
Just it's okay. Identify.
See, I identify as a woman.
It is you.
Then you shall now refer to me as a woman. God refers to himself as man,
So
doesn't
refer
he?
to him then as that. This is the thing that I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
How long will it be that there will be animals walking the streets, and then one day you now come and tell us you cannot call it an animal, you must call it something else.
Creature.
No.
Animal is demeaning.
There needs to be some kind of pushback. This thing is too much. One day, they will even tell you that you cannot even open your mouth and a word, you must now nod. That's what the wait. It's coming. It's coming.
And somewhere someone was saying, we cannot just talk about mothers anymore, right?
Please, Eric, please.
Talking about upbringing, raising children, breastfeeding. You cannot use such words. Okay? If you say mother denotes woman. Not every person who breastfeeds or can give birth to bear a child identifies as a woman. There's some childbearing persons who don't identify as women.
I beg you. Dodo, I'm actually begging you this morning.
It's confusing.
Don't vex my spirit.
Yeah.
Don't vex my spirit. Okay.
Mheshimiwa Felix Odiwuor is the Member of Parliament for Langata Constituency. He's joined us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
The last time we were here, I told you I'll be the Member of Parliament, and you doubted it.
No, we didn't doubt.
Yes, you did, Eric. You did.
You saw doubt.
Here, so I
you
didn't
Yes, you weren't here.
so I didn't doubt.
You read doubt on my face.
Yes.
No, that wasn't doubt.
And all right.
Here you are.
I'm good. How are you
Member
doing?
of Parliament. Very well.
I'm fine too.
Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest
Asante
conversation.
sana. Asante.
Yeah. What we normally do, and I was waiting for you to come, because we usually welcome our guest with the day's proverb. Ordinarily, it would be sitting, giving the proverb, but Siti is away. You're seated where he would be seated.
All right.
So today's proverb is from Malawi. And the proverb goes, the most fragrant of flowers are eaten by the green fly. The most fragrant of flowers are eaten by the green fly.
That's really deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what my grandmother would say. You cannot pickpocket a naked man.
You can't actually.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Thank you.
How's it been?
Amazing. Very challenging. Really different from what I thought it would be, because primarily, the roles of the Member of Parliament. But it's much of a bigger call than just representation, legislation, and oversight. It comes and boils down to personal issues about the constituents that goes beyond what you signed for.
Yeah. It goes beyond. You went to Parliament knowing that you're going to be representing your people in Parliament. You're going to be oversighting the government.
Yes.
And participating in legislation.
Yes.
And now?
Little did I know I'll be an undertaker. You must be there in every single burial. And missing one of them becomes an issue because maybe competition went there. And it was a show that he stood with them or she stood with them
And
in
you
the
are
most,
most,
and you're not there. So you become almost an ATM when, like right now, parents are taking children to school.
Yeah.
The only money available for me is bursary to give out there, which is yet also to be disbursed to the constituency accounts. But if you see the queues, the lines, the requests from parents who want you to come through to take their children to school, and they're actually in need. So you step up in your little way that you can help.
Yeah. So how are you doing that? Are you doing that out of pocket?
Of course, it's from personal pocket. Yeah, but you see, it's not something new to me. Remember, even when I was still in media, I had Jalango Foundation, and I was already doing a lot of charity, philanthropy, and all that. So it didn't come as a surprise. But I can imagine of new legislators who went in and were not doing that in their former lives.
And they have to start this.
You could easily be bankrupt.
You could bankrupt yourself.
You will.
You know, when you were seated here during the campaigns and you said, when we asked you, so you understand the role of a member of parliament and you also understand the needs of your constituents.
Yes.
You said one of the things that you're very good at is forming partnerships.
Yes.
And you're going to solve all these issues with collaboration and partnerships.
Yes.
So what partnerships do you have now for
Of course,
bursaries?
yes. I've had so many
for
issues.
hospital bills.
I've had so many issues come out. Like immediately I was elected, we had like 4 fire incidences that raved down several houses down there in Langata. At Southlands, we had fire. Raila Village, there was fire. There's fire in High-Rise Ward. And definitely when there's fire, we're talking about livelihoods being taken away from these people. So I called a few partners, definitely I will not mention because it will be free marketing. I still have radio and I know what it takes. And they came through for me. These are people who I am their brand ambassadors. A steel factory came through for me. We built houses for them. When we had we've had a lot of issues. We've had one of the biggest medical camps. And we've had a good partnership with a few people who also I was their brand ambassador in my previous career, and they still came through. Christmas just passed the other day. We fed thousands and thousands, something that I could not do myself because it will cost so much. I had partners coming up, and I've tried to use my past career to elevate me and partner with them to change people's lives.
It has been notable, and I know Ndu will come in and ask you a question, but I just want to throw this one there because I saw, for example, when you're talking about the partnership with the free medical camp, and some of the questions and comments that are coming up are these people influencing you by saying they're supporting your cause? So when they come up with matters that require legislation and all, or matters that then require oversight and you have to sit and question them, you'd already be compromised.
Of course, yes, everybody would say that. But these are people I've worked with in a very long time. And most of them don't even come from Langata. They just know the integrity that I did put out there during my time in my past career. And they still come through. For example, let me ask you. I work closely with a credit company. This credit company, the owners are not even here. You get? And from the partnership and the work we did in the past, they actually asked me, what can we do to support you? And they came through. See, one day maybe a case will be brought on the floor. A violation of maybe some
financial
legislations and all. You understand? I would still stand up and oversight them. I will not be compromised. Yes, because laws are laws. Yes.
Do you find, I mean, it's often easy for us to look at a member of parliament, doesn't really matter where, and say, all these things you're engaged in, providing school fees here, attending burials, maybe we say, okay, it's not directly in your JD. On the other side of it, we're saying, look, representation, legislation, oversight. That is the thing upon which a member of parliament will be judged. But as you step into it now, do you see that there would then be a mix of the two, that it should be accepted that a member of parliament is going to have to go to that burial, is going to have to represent at that school fees, while at the same time being on the floor of the house and doing those three things? Is it time to accept that those things have to run concurrently?
You see, I could easily tell you that the other part of touching people's life and their need becomes even bigger than your main role, or your daily engagement with your constituents becomes even bigger than the main role that you signed for. It is even bigger than your JD. Let me tell you, in our parliament, the house, we're more than 300 of us. Let's say a motion is brought on the floor. How many of us will even get a chance to debate on it? You see, the Senate is much more easier. That's why you see a senator comes out vibrant each and every single time, because there are only 47 of them. And when a motion or a debate comes to the floor, it is easier to see who is participating and who is not. For the speaker to even see you, number one, in that floor, okay? It's so hard, over 350 of us, you understand? So maybe you even had a contrary opinion about an issue. You might not even get a chance to to debate on it. We even have times where you have to now just cross the floor, go all the way to the speaker, tell them that, sir, kindly, I've already plugged it, and on the queue. We are on queue.
Yes.
If you want to speak, you sometimes even come so early than even very early to just plug in your card.
Plug in.
Because it's electronic, and the queues and
Fast come, fast
fast
served.
come, fast served. So let's say you're number 20. Just number 20. Forget about number 100. By the time you get a chance to speak, but then when I leave that house, I already find some of my constituents right outside there, outside the parliament, with an issue that needs, they would not even care whether I spoke in parliament or I didn't. But they are here with an issue that they need. You see? So I think they must.
So how do you balance those two? Because yes, there is addressing today's issue that this person has. This person has an issue today, they need to take their child to school. But also you understand that if nothing else changes, this person will still be needing school fees assistance next term. How do you balance that between that and the role that you have in Parliament of ensuring, for example, that there is adequate money that goes to the education sector so that this person never has to worry about school fees?
So you see, Parliament, what everybody knows is the plenary. But Parliament at work is a Parliament in the committees, the different committees. Now, it's just making sure that the work that is done in the committees is at that point now participate fully in the committees. Let's say it's education, the education committee.
Yeah.
If you are not a member, maybe you can send a member there with an issue and they'll be bold about it.
Yeah.
So we try so much to make sure that we work more in the committees than in the plenaries, what everybody says. Yes.
Then there's the politics of the day. I mean, so you've been elected, people have sent you to Parliament, they expect you to represent them, to legislate, to oversight the national government, and to come and sort out their issues.
Yes.
There's the politics of the day. You're in the minority.
Yes.
Your leadership in the minority is pushing another agenda right now, which is saying, look, we believe that our leader won this election, and we do not then recognize the legitimacy of these people who are in power.
Yes.
And we're going to push for these people who are in power now to vacate office because they're not there legitimately.
Yes.
Where does that leave you?
It leaves me to stand with the party and the party leader and the party conversation at any given time. My support for my party leader, my party, has never been questioned in any given day. And
Except
I really know
until yesterday.
I really know why you called me here and why you're buzzing me throughout. Definitely because of what happened yesterday. Remember, one of the first projects of our president was actually in Langata when we launched affordable homes,
Yes.
which the start date is actually today, and that was the reason why I was called to State House yesterday. Everything that we discussed yesterday was nothing political. We discussed everything development oriented, and that was it.
Who called the meeting?
The president called the meeting. Called the meeting.
Who's the president?
Really? Who's
Yes.
the president, Latif?
I don't know. Raila Odinga has said that the Azimio
No,
leadership,
who's the president?
the Azimio leadership
No,
does
who's the
not
president?
recognize. And you've just said you support the position of your leader.
Who is the president?
The leader of your party has said, we do not recognize Mr. William Ruto as a legitimate president in this country. And we also do not recognize any people that he has appointed
Yes.
to office in this country.
Yes.
And you don't recognize anything that he's doing in this country.
You see, when
So who called you?
when this
to State
project
House?
when this project was happening, the first time, I called my party leader and told him that Mr. William Ruto then now is coming to my constituency to launch this project.
Yeah.
Do I go? Told me, if it's anything development, go ahead and be part of it.
Okay.
All right? And Baba himself has given all of us a key to work with the president matters development.
Okay.
You saw him visit Homa Bay the other day, Sian Kisumu.
Yes.
He was welcome with all these MPs, all these governors. And they even had meetings at State House. Now, that tells you one thing, that the key Baba lieutenants definitely we've seen around President William Ruto, and I insist President, and I'll tell you why. And they would always question our loyalty because we're in the forefront. Every single rally, every single space where Baba's been, you've always seen me, okay? And yesterday, definitely the interview that broke off. I thought that I would only be trending when I was in media. This one is even bigger. I was trending at number 1. Yet we were more than 9 MPs there. So these other 9 MPs, I was lucky to be part of the meeting throughout, as much as I'm from Nairobi. They told me to sit in to also listen because I come from the regions where they represent. And being a leader, it was only noble that I sit there. And they followed up on every single project that Ruto had promised when he was in Nyanza. Okay? And the reason for this meeting was actually a follow-up on this. Maybe it came at a time when everybody is questioning, and we are out there every weekend pushing Baba's agenda. Then kaboom, you are at State House.
I must ask you, though, you've said something that when this housing project was being launched by His Excellency the President, you called Raila Odinga and said, should I
because we had just come from elections. And this was one of the first projects.
I understand.
Yes.
What if he had said no?
I would not have gone there.
What if yesterday the President had called you to State House?
Yes.
And what if you had called him again?
Yes.
And he said, well, we're being called for a follow-up meeting.
Yes.
Now, with temperatures going to where they have gone over the last 2 weeks, and he had said no, would you not have gone?
Of course, yes. Now, I didn't have a reason to call or ask because definitely I'd already given us a key to work if it's...
wait a minute. Jalango, let's go chronologically.
No, listen.
So there are two instances here.
Chronologically.
You asked me. Listen.
Yes.
There are two instances here. In the first instance, His Excellency the President is launching a project in Langata.
Yes.
And he, obviously, it is your constituency.
Yes.
You've called Raila Odinga and you've said, should I go? He says, anything to do with development, yes, you must go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You've also given us the example of His Excellency the President going to Homa Bay. The first time, maybe the reception was not so good.
Yes.
Second time, he went and everybody was there, all
because we had already been told.
Essentially, Baba said,
you know what?
Should go.
This is for development. Go.
Let's
right.
go.
All right.
Now, since then, things have become salty significantly. Since then, things have been illegitimate government, this, that, the other thing. Had he told you then, in light of this that we do not recognize 1, 2, 3, would you, Jalango, have not gone if Raila Odinga said, no, we don't recognize this guy, do not go?
I would still have gone. Since being development, I would still ask what the agenda. And if it still stands as a development, I would still go because the people of Langata do not care who's president or who's not. What they care for is the delivery of what the mandate they gave me. You understand? It is the people of Langata who will judge me at the end of this all. Jalango, we gave you a chance. Did you deliver our mandate? We had asked you, these were our issues. Have you delivered onto these issues? It is the people of Langata who will at the end of the day. Yes, politics notwithstanding. Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to go back to that issue that you mentioned, that you're always in line with your party leader.
Yes.
Right? So right now, in this instance, all right, today, what trumps the other?
Let me tell you something. We have a rally in Machakos this Friday. Friday or Saturday. The date is still not yet clear. I will be there. Because now that's politics. We have to learn how to differentiate politics and development as much as they run in the same direction.
What if the president holds the key to this development and for whatever political reason says, okay, guys, don't go there?
I'm waiting for one statement from Baba again that will also give me direction.
That says you don't
go. Whether it is development or not, don't go. then we'll have that conversation.
But Baba has said it clearly. We cannot and will not recognize the Kenya Kwanza regime, and we consider the Kenya Kwanza government illegitimate. That basically says, I do not recognize that William Ruto man as President of the Republic of Kenya, and I do not recognize that he is a head of government. So anything that he's doing, calling it development, calling it whatever, unless he's doing it in his private capacity, that's okay. But if he's doing it as president, I don't recognize.
So I think,
and not I
think
we includes you. Jalango.
I think then Baba gave us a chance to work with him in his private capacity in case of development.
Let's take a break on that note.
Eril Klatif, how you doing?
Jalas, let me take you to Vipingo.
All right.
All right. There's Vipingo development. You know Centum Real Estate.
Beautiful.
Yes?
Beautiful.
There's Vipingo development that they're coming up with. Very many acres there. They did phase 1 of houses. They handed over the houses to the owners. Now they're doing phase 2. And the phase 2 development is basically being rolled out. It's called the Palm Ridge phase 2. They are selling the units, and they're saying all you need to do, by the way, is put up a down payment.
Okay.
And after the down payment, then we can talk about how you can finish the rest of the payment.
Also, you can come up with a plan.
Yes.
Okay.
The phase 2 comprises studio apartments selling at 1.98 million shillings. You do 10% of that, right?
Wow.
198,000 shillings down payment. Start the rest you can pay. A 1-bedroom apartment selling at 4.05 million shillings, and 1-bedroom loft apartment selling at 4.05 million. 2-bedroom apartment selling at 5.85, and 3-bedroom for 6.75 in Vipingo. You've been there.
I think for Costo, you should go for the 3-bedroom.
Why?
You know, you don't go to Coast just to
Be like that.
To be like that. You just need to have a good time. And definitely, if you've been to Vipingo, the Kilifi weather looks so good. And if you see what phase 1 they did with phase 1, because I've been there, it's amazing. Then definitely you can fly down to Vipingo. It's less than an hour from Wilson. You can always go to your house and just rest. And definitely the bigger one, just for the nice weather. No, I think it's
go for the 3-bedroom one.
Go for it. Go for it.
The 3-bedroom one, which is going for 6.75 million.
That's
all you need to do is pay 675,000 shillings.
That's a deal.
Down payment.
That's a deal any day.
Kabisa. To get more information, SMS the word Vipingo to 22365. That's Vipingo to 22365. Or you can call 0740 400 215.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Get 2 months of Showmax for the price of 1 in a give Real Housewives, rich auntie vibes, and that bling. Samakuwa Mocha.
Toast to luxury.
In a give single cap.
Here's the secret to tasty meals every day. Salit, a triple refined vegetable oil for fresh, crispy food. Salit oil is cholesterol free. Salit, siri ndio hiyo.
Skin tags affect very many people.
Skin tags are just simply overgrown skin cells.
And although considered harmless, they present cosmetic problems.
If you feel like it's painful, because skin tags are harmless. They're usually like black and long, flat, and then you don't feel anything.
Skin tags usually affect the face and the neck, and especially around the eyes.
How long does this procedure take?
So like for her, you can see they're not too many. It will take me maximum 20 minutes.
Okay.
That's maximum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the Skin Therapy Show.
Minute Maid Delight, a treat that awakens your senses and fills you with vitality. So fill those break moments with the indulgent sensations of Minute Maid, featuring delicious mango, tropical and apple flavors. Minute Maid, filled with life.
Kwa majina kamili naitwa Stefan Aligula Salano, jina la kazi naitwa Voda.
Voda Salano.
Haswa anafanya videography na photography. Social media honestly is the one that it's given me jobs. So be very active on social media. That's where the money is nowadays. You know, everybody is on their phones. Catch me this Thursday at KTN Home, Millennial on the Move. Peace.
Amplify. Amplify every weekday from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Niko na story, but ataka amini light skin, usinichukulie lightly. From hardships to relationships, you see, at times maisha inaweza kusukuma kwa kona ukajiuliza vipi utapona, umesota, kila kitu imeisha apart from chumvi. Labda ubaki ndio add salt to the injury. So, what is your story? At times when the deal is too good, brave it and take the risk. Do you think twice new jua ni shop ya mtumba? Your attitude is your altitude. So, unaweza badilisha hii story ikakuwa your history. So, what is your story?
You've been doing in the rallies?
No, he didn't ask me. Actually, he veered off that direction, Kapsa, because he really wants our big support in his development agenda. So today, the contractors will be on the ground. Then the Langata TVET at Madaraka has also been stalled because some variation on the BQ. So he allocated another 50 million. And how that is going to work well is that when the TVET is done and the construction is going on, then we have very short-term courses, like 3 months, where these young men can go to the TVET, learn some craft, tiling, plumbing, and they are the young men and women in Langata, and they will be directed straight to work on site because the housing project is a 3-year project, and at any given level we'll need experts. So tiling, people will be doing painting and all this. We'll learn it at the TVET, then come straight to work at the construction site. So that's why we really needed both of the projects to run concurrently. Yes.
I think it's a brilliant thing.
Yes.
And just in terms of partnerships, what can actually work. It's unfortunate that the political overriding now puts a cloud over all of this, and that you can't really tell what is really happening with developments in this area. We've got to ask the question, though. It still goes back. I mean, we've been told also now there are cracks in Azimio just because the 9 of you went to State House yesterday without actually looking at, the underbelly of the story in terms of what was really, really happening. Does it matter? Does it really matter?
Let me tell you, we are at a very tough political end now. We are at a crossroad, we can't deny. The government is going on with its projects, and the opposition now, that is us at now, are calling out to resist. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, the government will always play very smart. For example, the day of the launch of the houses, when the president came to Langata the first time, with him was now the CS Land, former MP. All right? So let's say that day I didn't show up. Would have been given a chance to speak on behalf of the people of Langata.
Yeah, former MP.
Former
MP.
Yeah.
And what would they say? You gave somebody a chance to represent you, and he's not here. You denied this guy a chance, but here he is coming to see development. Now let me tell you something. The people right now just want development. Okay? All this will go on. Issues are out here. The cost of living is very high. People are going through a very hard time.
Yeah.
And they're just looking for anywhere to lean on, to bring hope, to make sure, to show that we are on the right track. Okay? So I can't lie to you. We are in a crossroad.
Yeah.
To cut the crossroad down, Baba accepted and said, whatever we are talking about developmental issues or things to do with us, kindly go ahead and work for our people.
Okay.
Because apart from that, that's why we were elected.
Sure.
The first reason why we elected was to work for the people. We've already been given the mandate. So your job doesn't stop because you are in opposition. You still has to work for the people. You get?
Yes.
Langata has issues. I've not even been able to solve the water problem yet. You understand? They call me every single day on my phone. Like today is Wednesday, right? Today water is supposed to come to Langata. I might even be awake into the night, just confirming with the people left and right.
That Nairobi water is pumping water.
Is the water there? You understand?
Yeah.
How does that even come to my political end?
Sure. So then the thing is, when I ask the question, does it matter? You may be the first one in this manner over the last few weeks to actually say, you know what? All this political hoo-ha aside, what really matters is to be able to deliver a proper environment through which people's livelihoods can thrive. So the politics really doesn't matter.
And I'll call you today with your name, Ndu. And I love it. Ndu, let me tell you one thing. There's no single day. Welcome to Kenya. I know you've been here for long. There's no single day. There'll never be politics in this country. They run concurrently. Development and politics. So it's just for you to know which direction and to what time are you where and how. If today I was in a rally somewhere with Baba, for example, and there's no water in Langata, the people of Langata will not care what I said in that rally. They would care about the water in Langata. You get? If today there was water in Langata and I didn't show up at Baba's rally, my ardent Langata supporters, ODM supporters, would not care
that you were not in the rally.
That there was water, but I was not in that rally.
Right.
You understand? So at any given we are on a race. It is the road down, electricity up. So let's move.
Let's move.
Yes.
Do you think that the politicians then confuse the citizens? Because, for example, so you went to State House yesterday, you had a conversation about a project that's taking place in your constituency, all right? And then on Sunday, you are in Machakos, and you will be there speaking and, you know, championing the same message. We are resisting this administration. We are going to do everything we can to make sure that it's ungovernable and this administration gets out of office. We don't recognize anything. In fact, now you'll be wearing that uniform with a beret, and you'll be telling us all those things and saying, Ruto must go. But you just met Ruto, and you didn't tell him to his face that he must go. Now you're coming to tell us in Machakos, Ruto must go.
You see, soon and very soon, the electorate will be smart enough, or they're already smart enough, and they already know there's politics and there's development. Yes. Just that, simple. There's politics.
So we take the politics as entertainment. It's like...
It's not entertainment. Politics can never be entertainment.
So what?
Politics shapes
how can
a
we,
lot.
how can we
even as we
the
speak
two?
right now, politics will always shape every single way we live out here. You understand?
What impact is it likely to have for you to have a rally wearing the uniform and the beret and saying Ruto must go and saying let's start resisting, and maybe you even come up with a list of the things that you want us to resist? And say, you know, unless Ruto is out of office, we are not going to do this, and the other. And then on Monday, you have to address the needs of your constituents by dealing with the Ruto administration.
You see, at that time, contractor
You're saying politics...
Work will not stop on the ground. You understand? Work is not going to stop. Contract has been paid, contract awarded, nyumba zinaendelea, maji inakuja, barabara inatengenezwa, stima iko, watoto wanaenda shule. You understand? So these things have to run. Eric, why are you confusing Ndu here? You've been here for the longest time. We've been in this journey not once or twice. We've been here. You understand? I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one time and that's it for them and don't want to go back. To me, I find that this is what actually I was meant for. You understand? To work for the people, champion what they want, bring development, ask questions, stand there, resist. Make sure that what you want is done. That's it. And that is where now I am. I'm in my kind of waters now. You know me when we were here. How many radio stations did I leave here before I settled in on a... If you're not giving me what I want, I leave.
You move to the next one.
I move. We move. Life is a movement. Life is a movement. Join the movement.
Yeah. So forget about all those things.
Forget about all that.
Just move on.
Just move on.
I mean, the rest of the things are just drama.
And it's too short to make you really think that, you know what.
As a member of parliament in the minority in the
Yes.
National Assembly, of course, you must have your own, parliamentary, the minorities meeting and taking direction from your leader, Pio and I, on how we are going to advocate our issues to make sure that there's accountability from this government. There is, of course, the cost of living. All those things that you talk about even in the rallies. There's the cost of living, the cost of unga, there's subsidized fertilizer, this and the other. What are you doing to make sure that these things are delivered? Now playing your oversight role in Parliament.
Of course, we must agree that Parliament has not had enough sittings to push some of these things, all right? Because how long have we been in? We've been in Parliament now 6 months. In these 6 months, there was a lot going on. Putting up the committees together, the swearing in. It was just settling into that house. There's a lot to settle in a government for a government to start moving. So the first, I think, 4 months, if you were watching, there was very little work that was done in that. We hope that when Parliament now resumes, now we shall start tabling some of these issues and strongly debate on them and come up with directions that we are taking. Yes, but saying that this Parliament already has worked enough. We just had a clerk the other day.
There are big things that have happened.
Inductions. We just finished the committee's inductions the other day in Mombasa. There's a lot that has been happening.
In that time, a lot has happened also in Parliament. For example, the IBC Amendment Act went through Parliament, went into the Senate, has been assented to by the President. Your party is opposed to it. For example, the the Financial Inclusion Fund.
Yes.
Yeah. The regulations came to Parliament. They were passed by Parliament.
There's a lot that has happened. Eric,
there.
We have to agree.
The supplementary budget came to Parliament.
There's a lot
that's happened.
There's a lot that has happened.
Yeah.
There's a lot that has happened, but definitely not what we can sit here and say that we've sat down and if you
so
hear
you've not had a position on them, like you've not had a position, for example,
I
on
would
the matter
easily
of,
tell you. I would easily tell you that every single thing that we've done or championed out here as a minority has been in our rallies and all. But in Parliament, very little has come in to be debated on the issues that you mentioned, because most of the issues that have been tabled so far are just to make the government start running.
To move.
Move.
So there will be an opportunity.
There will be an opportunity.
Taking into consideration when you clock in at 20 and there's 350
we are coming back.
of you.
We are coming back in a week or two.
Yeah.
We will have a chance now to start now debating the real issues. Food prices have to come down. Subsidies have to come in. If that is the only, people are going through a very hard time, bro.
Yeah. Those are
you
contained.
don't have to have a. Maybe I'm from
those are contained in the supplementary budget.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
The supplementary budget has been brought to Parliament. Now, what kind of voice have we heard from the minority on the issue of the supplementary budget, on the content of the supplementary budget that talk about
we are having a PG.
The subsidies? These are the fertilizer subsidies.
We're having the party.
This is the one that's allocating 12 billion shillings to the, what's it called, not the Huduma Fund, what's it called? The Hustler Fund.
Hustler Fund. Now we are going for our PG this Thursday. Tomorrow, we are starting our PG. And definitely, we will have a voice from that on our take on all this. Yes. The Azimio PG is from tomorrow.
It's from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yes.
During campaigns, I guess it's the time where promises, are flying everywhere. There's certain things you said. There's certain things, you said you would do, or at the very least, said that you would like to do.
Yes.
So people are waiting, to say, okay, he said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do this, or at least agitate for this to be done. Would you say you're on course?
We are on course. One of the first things I ever said was definitely making sure that the issuance of bursaries, for example, is transparent, okay? Open, free, and fair. That's why when I was issuing the bursary forms, I did have the different wards coming to my office in different days. Then we did all that openly. Everybody who came got a chance to have a form. We are clearing all that to make sure that the legit people, because we had double entries, double applications, you just know Kenyans at the end of the day. And it will just be that again. And I even added more funds in it and decided the 100% that is given for education, this time let it go for bursaries. That is around 50 million Kenya shillings. It will all go that. It's a promise I did put out there. I did say that this is going to, during my time, Langata's water issue will be a thing of the past. Now, we've been pushing through the Nairobi Water and definitely the county to make sure that the Northern Water Corridor Collector is complete, probably by February, end of this month. And you saw Sakaja's commitment into that. And when that is done and we have the new infrastructure that now supplies Langata, that will be a big win for me. You understand? We said we'll have a food program for those people who are, Langata, we have so many slums.
Yeah.
And that is already happening. We already having that happening even before I build the kitchen that I promised that I will build for food for education. Now, food for education. So
this is for school children?
This is for school children. What this will do, I'm putting up a community kitchen in partnership with Food for Education that will see 10,000, almost every single child in Langata, every day, have food served in school. Now, what that will do, proper concentration in class, retention, and even more enrollment, because we have children from the slums who don't show up to school to go look for food. And if they
you said about 10,000?
More than 10,000.
More than 10,000
Yes.
school-going children.
Yes, in Langata.
And this is in public and private schools?
Public and private, provided you, and both is secondary and primary. It's a model that I've borrowed from KJ, Embakasi South. It's
Not Embakasi.
Dagoretti South, and it's working very well. And it's one of the key projects I've put out there.
How do you fund this? How does one get such a thing?
Now, this works in the most beautiful way. I think it's one of the things that is so beautiful. I didn't know. It's a very beautiful project. Now you put up this kitchen, okay? This kitchen, that we have subsidies from the county government.
Okay.
So a meal costs 30 shillings. All right. The county government is subsidizing for up to 26 shillings. So the parents pay 5 shillings only. In any given day, the parents maybe pay 100 shillings per child. So this will save them 95 bob. So how do the parents put out, pay for this? So there's a gadget that they load money on. It's like a watch. So when your child comes, all they have to do is to tap, and it is 5 shillings is deducted, and they have their food. Can you imagine the burden you take away from the children, from the parents, when all from 100 shillings, now they only have to pay 5 shillings. So this project, probably by April, it will be up and running in Langata.
So Sakaja's input is 27 bob per plate.
26 shillings per
26 bob per plate. And this is coming from the county government.
County government and also the government.
And the national government.
The national government.
Is the CDF contributing anything into this project?
No, what we are contributing is the building of the kitchen.
Okay.
I've put out, the kitchen costs 23 million shillings, but I've already put out 17 million shillings into this. In this financial year, 2023-2024. So I want to fund it I want to put 17 million in the first disbursement of CDF. The first thing will be bursaries, then the next thing will be the kitchen. Yes.
How many children do you think ought to benefit? Right now, you're starting with about 10,000 or so children.
We put out 10,000, and the school, we had a meeting with all the head of schools, head teachers of Langata primary schools and secondary schools the other day at my office, and we're still working on the estimates, the numbers of the children that will be there. Now that we are even having, there's a new year, so that children that have transferred to other schools and all. So we are yet to get now the new numbers cumulatively.
Okay.
Yes, but we are planning for that kitchen to feed at least 10,000 people.
There's just about 45 seconds.
Yes.
And I just want to address a report released yesterday by education stakeholders says 4% of schools in middle and low income urban settlements are public schools. That means about 96% of schools in your constituency, for example, in the slum areas, are private. Are you planning to set aside money from CDF and championing the national government to build public schools in your constituency?
The problem we have in Langata is land, land in the different wards. You see, like a place like High Rise Ward, Joshua Loom is the only public school. But with the new affordable houses, we've had to put up a school in there. At least now that is the first school we are doing. Then I'm completing. If you follow me on my socials, I was at Kongoni and we're pushing for the completion of the project, Kongoni Primary School and Secondary School. We are expanding. A lot of what we want to do is not to build new, it's to expand on what we have.
On existing infrastructure.
The existing infrastructure.
All the best, man.
Yes.
All the best. It's encouraging to see that you are already on the ground and working and looking at how to address the needs of your people.
Yes, that is why they elected us, and it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Nice meeting you. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again. Felix Odiwuor Jalango is a member of Parliament for Langata constituency. He's been our guest. He'll be here again soon. Good morning, 9 a.m.